Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear grade 6 students, hello again. I am Ahmed Al Farahati and I wish you all the best of everything. Today, inshallah, we will study Unit 3, the story of stories, lessons 12 and 13. Please open your class book to page 31. This page. What are the aims of these two lessons? Let's check. Unit 3. The story of stories. Lessons 12 and 13. Class book page 31. Activities 1 and 2. Class book page 69. The cutout page G. Skills book page 33. Activities 1 and 2. The aims. In this lesson, students will compare two pictures and write down the differences. Think of a setting for a story they would like to write. Understand and use adjectives to describe characters. Dear students, let's go to page 31 of your class book. Activity 1. Look and think. The place where stories happen is called the setting. Look at these two different settings for two different stories. Talk to a friend about how they are different. Let's read these two parts of the stories. Suddenly, we saw a beautiful island with long sandy beaches. The sand was covered with many different shells. There were beautiful birds of many colors flying over the tops of the trees. The air was full of butterflies and bees feeding on the flowers and the fruit of the trees. This is the setting for the first story. Yes, here the men were hiding from the sheriff in the forest. The forest was full of tall trees and small bushes, all growing close together. It was very dark. The only noises came from the small squirrels hiding in the tall trees and the hedgehogs hiding amongst the leaves on the floor of the forest. And this is the setting for the second story. Look carefully at the two pictures again. Compare the two pictures and write down the differences here. You are asked here to look carefully at these two pictures and compare the two pictures, then write down the differences here. Take your time to do the task, then come back to check your answers. Hello again. Dear students, I will write here some differences in order to check your answers. But you can write any differences. Here, yes, on an island, if you look at the picture, light, yes, beach, shells, birds and butterflies. And here we have dark, forest, plants and leaves, squirrels and hedgehogs. Thank you. Let's look at activity 2. Think and draw. Remove cutout page G from page 69 at the back of this book. Think of a setting for a story you would like to write. It can be anywhere, in the town or in the country, in the desert or in the jungle, under the water or even in space. You decide. First, decide what you are going to put in your picture. Close your eyes and try to see the picture in your mind. Next, write a list of everything you want to put in the picture. Now, draw and color your picture. When you have finished, show it to your friends and describe the setting to them. Then, put your picture in your portfolio. Now, I'll show you the page. My story setting. Dear students, you can think about the setting of your version of How the Zebra Got Its Stripes story. Do you remember this story you are planning? Try to draw the setting here and write some ideas or describe it here. You can do this task at home. Now let's go to page 33 of your skills book. Words, adjectives. Here we will learn about adjectives and how we use adjectives to describe characters. Activity 1. Read and think. When we have decided on the characters we want to use in our stories, we then have to make them interesting for the reader. We can do this by describing what the characters look like. Look here. One day, while the beautiful zebra was looking at his reflection in the water, the baboon walked past. Yes, we use this adjective, beautiful, to describe the zebra. We can also describe what type of person or animal they are. King Pendragon was a kind man. Yes, here we use the adjective kind in order to describe King Pendragon. To make our characters interesting, we use lots of adjectives to give more information about them. You understand that? Yes, let's look at activity 2. Read, think, and match. Look at this definition of the adjective kind. Kind, adjective. Someone who tries to help other people and shows that they care about them. This is the definition of the adjective kind in a dictionary. Now look at these sentences about some of the characters in the stories in this unit. Arthur was a very good, brave king. Prince John and his friend the Sheriff of Nottingham were very cruel. Robin Hood and his merry men took money from the rich people and gave it to the poor people. All these words are adjectives: good, brave, cruel, rich, poor, and we use them to make our characters interesting or to give more information about them. Use your knowledge of the stories and the characters to help you match the adjectives to the definitions below. You are asked here to read these sentences again and use your knowledge of the stories and the characters to help you match the adjectives to the definitions. 1. Brave. 2. Good. 3. Cruel. 4. Rich. 5. Poor. A. Someone who has very little money. B. Someone who is not kind and hurts people or animals. C. Someone who has a lot of money. D. Someone who is kind and helpful and does things that are right. E. Someone who will do something they have to do, even though they may be scared. You are asked to match these adjectives to the definitions here. Take your time to do the task, then come back to check your answers. Hello again. Now I'll match the adjectives to the definitions in order to check your answers. Number 1. Brave. Yes, it's done for you. Someone who will do something they have to do even though they may be scared. 2. Good. Yes, someone who is kind and helpful and does things that are right. So D is number 2. 3. Cruel. Someone who is not kind and hurts people or animals. Yes. B is number 3. 4. Rich. Someone who has a lot of money. Yes. C is number 4. 5. Poor. Someone who has very little money. A is number 5. There are many adjectives in the stories in this unit. Try and use some of them to describe the characters in your story. Do you remember your story? How the zebra got its stripes? Try to use some of the adjectives in the stories in this unit in order to describe the characters in your story. By this, we've achieved the aims of these 2 lessons. Thank you for following me. Goodbye.